Okay, today's handstand tip will be awareness on the lower body. Last week, we did the upper body, mainly focusing on the fingers, wrist, elbows, shoulders. Today, we'll be doing toes, heels, knees, and hip, which is sort of like more, in my opinion, like it's like the core area. I don't really actually focus on the hips when I do handstands. I'm more so focused on core and a little bit of the butt. So what I just did now was a hand hop, and after the hand hop, I essentially went into focusing all my energy in pointing my toes up and keeping my legs very flexed, including the butt, the core, calves, the pit of the knee, and toes pointed completely straight. So this is something that I feel not a lot of people do when I see them attempting handstands. They sort of just think about getting their arms on the floor and then kicking up, and that from there they've just lost all control because they didn't actually try to think about their legs. What I found was that I was the same way. In the beginning, all I would do was sort of like kick, and then my legs just did whatever. But when I started doing gymnastics, my coach would always tell me to point my toes. And that was like something I never really thought about before. I only started gymnastics like 2.5 years ago. So, and before that I still had handstands. And then like pointing my toes actually helped my handstands even more. It made it feel like I was lighter, and it made me feel like there was a purpose for my legs. Otherwise it's sort of just there. So just as an example, once you're on your hands and you launch off your legs, that's the moment your legs should already be flexed and pointing up. You should be thinking about sort of kicking backwards, and then at the point where you feel like you're almost over your head, that's when your toes should reach directly upwards. Like you should be thinking about that. That's actually the first time I ever did that, but basically, that is the tip for the toes. I feel like it definitely helps a lot after doing hand hops. Hand hops, you actually lead with your heel. So I kick with my heel, and then right after that, I immediately go into my toes. In terms of knees, all you gotta do is the same as your elbows, which is keep them completely straight. If you bend even a little bit, unless you're doing hand hops, but if you bend, like if you leave them like, I'll show you. A lot of beginners, it's hard to, a lot of beginners sort of like hang their legs in front of them, and that is very difficult to actually balance, hence me falling. So what you want to do is keep them completely straight all the time. Otherwise, right when you launch your kick, otherwise you will lose your balance pretty much immediately. Another tip that I heard from people, like back when I did more breaking with my friends and whatnot, my butt is supposed to be flexed, and that could help. For me, I think of it sort of as a connected thing. Like, if your butt is being flexed, your entire leg is basically being flexed. And for me, I usually just flex my entire leg, so that flexes my butt by default. It's sort of like all connected, so it depends on what you prefer, how you prefer to think about it. So I guess I'll show one where I don't flex my butt, like I'm not thinking about flexing my butt, or I'm trying to not flex it, and then after that I'll do one with flex. Yeah, so I didn't flex anything that time, or I didn't flex my butt that time. And that time, I was just off balance. So, but I could feel that when I'm flexing my butt, if you could see, there was actually resistance to falling, versus like when I didn't flex it, it just felt like I just fell over right away. So let's do that one more time. Because the thing is, when I'm trying to flex my butt, it's weird because I'm just thinking about my butt, which is wrong. I much prefer to think about my entire leg, plus the toes. So that is my preferred method, but if that helps you, then you should probably just think about flexing your butt. Anyways, let's move on to the core area. What I do is, I actually don't focus on my core that much when I do handstands. Most of it is after all of this is stiff, and then after your legs are stiff, your core sort of, at least my core, tightens by itself. So I guess I can try to demonstrate where my core isn't flexed, but honestly, I just fall over. How about I flex my core and then release it while mid handstand? Yeah, so once I released it, I pretty much lost balance. But it's kind of hard to think about these things while doing the handstand, like focusing only on one thing, because that sort of messes up my entire balance. I feel like I need to think about everything. I mean, like, it's good that you can think about one thing at a time, but if you don't have each thing sort of in place, or like a sort of connection to everything, like if you're only focusing on this and you neglect everything else, like your wrist, your hands, your elbows, your toes and stuff, you're gonna fail. Like, it's just much harder to do. Okay, so that's pretty much the tip for the day. Awareness for lower body plus core. If you combine both awarenesses, your handstands should improve by a good amount. At least that's what happened for me. Let's go ahead and do a few exercises with hand hops, just for my hand hop progression. Let's do a few hand hops with both hands first. That's actually pretty fun to do. I thought of it, and then I was like, I should do that for this video because it's like lower body focus. And I wasn't actually sure if I could, but looks like I can, and it feels really fun to do. Okay, let's end this off with right hand, left hand. Hopefully my left hand can take this. All right. Right hand first. Okay. Whew. I felt it right here. Like, that landing was not ideal. Should have flexed harder. It wasn't pain, it was just I don't know. Like, I just felt the muscle being used a lot, if that makes sense. Okay, one more time. Even if I only do one, we'll just move on. Yesterday I did two, but that was kind of like bad form. And I was just very hyper, so I just went with it. Okay. That was sort of two-ish. A little bit better form, just a little. Let's go left side. Hopefully I can hop this time. If I can't, that's fine. Just gotta get used to like the feeling of doing this. I'm almost ready to move on to just doing like one-handed freezes, and that'll be the next step to actually properly progressing instead of just trying it. I should not be looking up. Why am I looking up? Okay. There we go. Now let's try the kick. Not quite. That'll be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the handstand tip and can use it to improve your handstand. Thanks for watching.